In this tutorial we're going to be working with text in Animate CC. At the moment I've got a blank ActionScript 3 document, and I'm using an ActionScript 3 document so that I can work with our scenes panel. I'll be creating 4 scenes using text 4 ways. The first is simple scrolling text. We'll then be moving on to how to make text talk, how to make it appear as though the text is being revealed while a character is speaking or while a person is typing a text message. The third technique will be fading text, and this is how we can fade text in and out like scene transitions. And to bring it all home, 3D text, we're going to experiment with how you can make the text disappear deeply into the canvas as though you were making the text in the opening scene of a Star Wars movie. So let's go and begin with our first scene, which will be a simple example of scrolling text. How might you use this? Obviously this would be useful for the final credits for your animation. And remember with your animation that you are asked to attribute all bitmaps that you are tracing and using so that you are a good digital citizen. So certainly I would expect to see attributions in your scrolling text at the end of any animation project. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is to name layer 1 text, and we're going to go over to our tool panel and choose the text tool. Now when we do this, with our property panel shown, we can go in and choose fonts. So I'm going to start with a Chalkduster font here, and what I will do is click and drag across to the right, and that will create a text width that we can work with. This will be our credits. Attribution, so this is where you'd be posting in the names and URLs of any materials that you have used. So what I would do at this point is probably center the text, so we can go down to this paragraph option, choose to center the text. The size is a bit large, so what we might do is go through each of these lines, and just by clicking and dragging along the size here, you can see that we are scaling our text appropriately. So I'll go down to make that appear in a single line, and then with attributions we'll make that quite small so that we've got room underneath here. So what I've done here is to quickly jump across to the Creative Commons website, and as an example we're looking here at how to attribute Creative Commons licensed materials. If your work had a Creative Commons attribution, then you would be using something like this to attribute the work. As you can see, there's a kind of format here. The name of the work, the creator of the work, and available at is where we include our URL reference. Going further, if it does have a Creative Commons license attached to it, then the expectation is that comes after the URL. If this is all you know, then you can put this at the very least for your attributions. So I'll Control C or Command C, copy that, and now jumping back into Animate, I'm going to paste the attribution in there. It's quite large, so what we'll do is scale it down again, just so that it's visible. And I will just copy and paste that as though it were the next attribution, just so that we can get a long scrollable section of text here. So we have finished our text. Now what we're going to do is to select our text area and go Modify Convert to Symbol, and I'll just call this Credits. We need to make sure that it's a movie clip because we're going to be animating it, so we'll click OK. The next process is quite straightforward. We've done it many times already, and that's to right click on the timeline, Insert Frame, and then right click and create a motion tween. So now we have this full 70 frame span to animate the movement of the scrolling credits. So let's simply click and drag our text down so that it appears off the stage, and then at the end what we'll be doing here is obviously making sure that the credits appear outside the top of the stage. Let's test the movie. Now, if you believe that's moving too quickly, what you can do is just click and drag out a section of frames and right click insert. What that's going to do is push out the selection so that we now have a larger span of motion tween. So now when I press enter, you'll notice that the credits are moving more slowly.